Welcome back to another edition of Recruiting Thursday, right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network, brought to you by our friends at Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Jack Ridenour here with you, and today we are now joined by Burrell wrestler and recent Seton Hill wrestling commit, Luke Boylan. Luke, first off, my friend, thanks so much for joining us today, and obviously a big congratulations on the commitment as well. How does it feel to have this decision done and finally made?
It definitely feels like a lot, like really relieving that I don't have to go throughout the season and worrying about wins and losses too much, and worrying about if like the coaches are going to be all over me like this and that. It's just nice to get out of the way and just not relieves a lot of pressure for sure.
Well, we'll get into your career a little bit, and you mentioned the winning because you're actually approaching a pretty big milestone coming up. But getting into the commitment, what was it about the Griffins wrestling program and just Seton Hill as a whole that drew you there?
Um, I would probably just say it's really close to home, which was a little bit of a reason, but I'd say more likely, I'd say the coaches were awesome. On my official visit, I just felt like when I met the team and the coaches that I just like blended in so well with everybody. And my old teammate Nico Farah's there right now, he was on my team my sophomore and freshman year. So that obviously had a little part of it. And all the guys are Whitfield guys that I've known my whole life. And when I went, I just felt like these are the guys that I want to be with for the next 4 years. And you got to be happy to go to your next place. You don't want to go somewhere and not know, like go somewhere and not like them. You want to be able to like know them and guys you're going to be with the whole time because you're going to hang out with them.
Without question, you want to make sure that it's somewhere that feels like home for the next 4 years, because essentially that will be your home for the next couple of years. But what do you
Yeah.
plan on studying in when you arrive there?
I'm gonna go into the business field, and then my first year to see like what I'm good at and what I like, and then the second year probably narrow it down to like just like one thing in the business field. So
Well, good thing you've got a lot of time to figure it out, so no
yeah.
need to make a big decision right here. But I want to get into just the recruiting process as a whole. I mean, during the whole process, what were some challenges that came about that maybe you didn't realize were going to occur that maybe kind of jumped out of nowhere on you?
Like some challenges were definitely like, well, I never placed at the state tournament. I never even made it. So like I was always telling myself, like our coach is even gonna reach out. But that now that we're in the Whitfield and I've done pretty well at the Whitfield tournament, I felt like coaches still like recognized me and like still gave me a chance. So that was probably the biggest challenge. Just me telling myself that maybe I did make state tournament, maybe coaches weren't going to reach out, but they did. So
Was it ever at all overwhelming during this process when you were getting coaches to reach out to you, wanting to make sure that you're getting in touch with them? I mean, did it ever feel like, it was a lot on your plate?
no, not too much. It was exciting. It's a new time in your life. You get to see what college or what team you want to spend the rest of your next 4 years with. So I wouldn't say it was challenging. I would say it was more exciting, if anything.
Well, that's always a good thing because you always get different reactions from people when they go through the college recruitment process. But
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of pivot back into this year because you've had a little bit of a change at your head coaching position. Longtime
Yeah.
head coach Josh Shields is no longer guiding the program. It's now Steve Ansani. So, what has that been like for you, kind of getting adjusted to a new coach, especially for somebody that had been with the program for so long?
Yeah, well, things really haven't changed too much. Coach Josh still comes in the room, three days a week, and Coach Steve's been our assistant coach for all 4 of my years, and then the past like 10 years, I believe. So he's known us all. We all know him. He runs Bones Freestyle, which we would practice all summer with him, with like his bone. He does like a freestyle club. So I mean, we've known his coaching. He knows us, and I really wouldn't say nothing has really changed. I mean, Coach Josh still comes around, Coach Greeley, and then we added a new addition to our wrestling coaching staff, which was Jake Wenzel. So having him in the room is just real big. Um, but I would really say there's really no, I can't really tell a difference. So
Well, I want to circle back around to the beginning of the interview because you'd mentioned about not having to worry about wins and losses so much. Well,
yeah,
you're 12 wins away from career number 100, so I'm sure that's got to be a pretty good feeling for you. How much has that been on your mind with that milestone approaching pretty soon?
it's been on for a while. I would say freshman year was like my first week at practice, and we had like write down a certain amount of goals. And I remember my one goal was to reach 100 wins, and when you look at it, you're like, oh, 100 wins, like that's a lot, but it's just average of 25 a year, and which is still really tough. But I would say I'm really excited for that, but I don't want to look too far ahead because when you do that, bad things happen. So.
Well, I know last year you had a really strong season. You finished first in the section, you were third in the WPIAL, but like you mentioned, you missed the state tournament. What do you think needs to be different for you this year in order to achieve that goal and get over that hump and get to that state tournament?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is on probably like the mental side of it. Last year in the beginning of the year, I struggled with that, and I started like just really like hyper focusing on the little things and just doing everything right. And towards the end of the year, I started to peak, and I was one match away. So I think honestly, just nothing changed. I put a lot of work in over the summer, and I think the biggest thing would just be like mentally, just to always be ready and like check in at all times, not taking any days off. And I think that's the biggest deal to get over that hump because I'm right there with those guys. So.
What did you do in the offseason to work on the mental side of things?
Yeah, so I have like this mindset coach. His name's Drew Phipps. He wrestled at Bucknell back in his day, but I just talked to him, and he gave me a lot of like tips and a lot of things that I didn't know I had to do, but I do now. Helps, and so I'd give a lot of praise to him, and obviously Coach Isaac because he's helped me a lot with that, and just another coach, Ethan Whistler. He's our assistant coach. I'd stay after practice with him and just work on a lot of like small details, things that like I was struggling with. But now that like I'm confident about it, I can definitely see a difference. So.
Was there anything that you did in the weight room or in the wrestling room specifically during the offseason that you had never done during the offseason in previous years?
I mean, I've always in the off season, worked out, but I'd say this year it was a big. I really like hit the weights real hard, and I didn't really take any time off. I went to NHSCA's. And then I took about like 2 weeks off, and then I was still going to the Mat Factory 2-3 times a week and training with all the guys around there. And I would say I really worked on my feet a lot this summer, like getting better at on my feet because I struggle there. But so I'd say that's where I worked at the most.
Well, it's definitely been awesome to see how you've kind of gradually improved each and every single year. And like you said, kind of starting to peak at the right time of your career as well. Before we get you out of here, I want to just hear from you. I know obviously your high school career is kind of coming to a close, but you still have a lot more wrestling ahead of you when you go off to college. What is it that excites you the most when, you've got another 4 years ahead of you after this year of wrestling in the college level?
Wait, repeat that again. Your mic went out.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to know what excites you the most about wrestling at the next level in college.
Yeah, I would say it's just 4 more years to prove yourself and 4 more years to get better. So I'd say that's what I'm most excited for. And then just wrestling with, my new teammates and making memories and having fun along the way.
Well, definitely going to be an exciting next 4 years for you, my friend. Thanks so much for stopping by. And again, congratulations on the commitment.
Thank you so much.
That's Seton Hill Wrestling commit Luke Boylan. Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of Recruiting Thursday, brought to you by our friends at Sendell Volkswagen in Greensburg. We would love to meet you. Make sure you check out our other Recruiting Thursday features that are available on our YouTube channel. And as always, this is Jack Ridenour signing off, never saying a goodbye, simply a see you later, right here and only on the Westmoreland Sports Network.